Tonight on our news weekend, the Environment Minister is on the record as that major scrapyard fire is brought under control. We've got the latest straight ahead, plus celebrating pioneering women. We hear the story of an inspirational woman who paved the way for women in the church. And later, hear the rhythm and sound from this year's Jazz in the Gardens. Night 1 is a wrap, and our Danielle Miller has a full recap. Our News, the weekend edition, starts right now. Welcome to our News, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. Firefighters battling a massive blaze at Larry's scrap metal yard near the New Providence Ecology Park late into the night on Saturday. Environment Minister Von Miller telling us the raging fire was sparked by electrical issues. The fire sent thick black smoke across the New Providence skyline, visible for miles. The Environment Minister telling us this afternoon that small parts of the property were still on fire.
They were able to confine it yesterday and control it, and overnight they were able to contain it, and so it's not going to go as long as they anticipated earlier. And so some things occurred were very favorable, and as a matter of fact, the site, the park itself, they were able to reopen, and persons can access from the rear of it.
Minister Von Miller says the Ecology Park expects to be fully operational by Tuesday. Police tell us the matter was reported shortly before noon Saturday. At the time, there was no threat to nearby properties. While he's grateful the fire didn't impact neighboring homes, Miller expressed concern over the impact.
Because of the wind, and a lot of it was blown up into the atmosphere. We're very concerned with the subdivisions in the neighboring areas. But from what I saw when I was there yesterday for a while, that effect would have been minimal.
Police confiscating over $60,000 from a Haitian man traveling to Cape Haitian. Police tell us that around 8 a.m. Saturday, the 49-year-old man was taken into custody at the Lynden Pindling International Airport with a large amount of cash. Initially, reports revealed police acting on information from airport authority officials approached the man as he was about to check into his charter flight. He was taken to the police station where the money was found in his belongings. The Financial Crimes and Investigations Branch is looking into this matter. And now to another story we've been following. Royal Caribbean Group Bahamas is once again defending the Royal Beach Club project, currently under construction on Paradise Island. They're now hitting back at environmental concerns that were raised by a local developer. Joshua Williams has more in this exclusive interview.
Royal Caribbean Group Bahamas President Philip Simon is shooting down allegations of environment infractions at its Royal Beach Club construction site on Paradise Island. It's another accusation thrown at the company by land developer Toby Smith, who's calling for more transparency on the project. Simon, who earlier this week defended the project's employment of Bahamian workers, says from the start the development has followed all environmental procedures.
Whether it's the EIA or the CEC, we have monitoring that's ongoing on a daily basis.
Simon also says they made a shocking discovery during the clearing down process.
We would have tagged every single tree. There would have been thousands of trees that we would have tagged. And the tree study would have come back and shown through the partnership with the Department of Environmental Protection and Planning, the Department of Forestry, 67% of those vegetation and trees over there on the beach club were invasives.
In fact, Simon claims the property was in a dire state when they began construction.
And across those acres, there would have been environmental degradation. There would have been homes and structures that were decrepit. There were docks that falling into the harbor. I think it's a well-documented process. If you go and you see the pictures, it was in pretty poor shape.
As for the remaining native trees and vegetation, over 1,000 of them were removed. Simon says they've been transported to a nursery in New Providence.
And that's where they reside right now. They are being cared for on a daily basis. The Department of Forestry does regular checkups, and we hope that they all survive over time, and they're all doing extremely well right now.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. as a new partnership between government, SuperValue, and a Dominican egg supplier slashed the cost of eggs this week. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard is weighing in, saying the opposition supports any effort to ease the burden on the pockets of taxpayers. On Monday, the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources unveiled the new eggs, promising to also collaborate with local farmers. Pintard, however, raised this question while speaking with reporters outside the House of Assembly this week.
Where's the money for the golden yoke? And why has the government failed to deliver on this program, even though when they came to office, we had already completed the research from the Food and Agriculture Organization, from CARDI and other agencies in terms of how to become self-sufficient both in meat as well as eggs.
But many questioned the source of these eggs, which we later learned during this week's Office of the Prime Minister press briefing is the Dominican Republic.
What we want is for affordable prices for Bahamians, and there are a number of measures that can accomplish that, and we support those measures as long as the regular testing is done, and we have an agency that's more than capable of doing that, and that is the Agriculture, Food, Health and Safety Organization under the Ministry of Agriculture. And so BASFA can in fact do any research to determine safety. So we have very little concerns there.
A troubling trend is emerging in the country as more and more suicides and attempted suicides are being reported. Police recorded a 33% increase in suicides for 2024. Bahamas Crisis Center head Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson says this uptake is a growing concern for the Crisis Center and is calling for increased mental health support to address the issue.
For the last 3 years, we've been doing a symposium on the boy child and talking about how you protect the emotional life, safeguard the emotional life of the boy child. Because there are things that we're doing and not doing for boys. And if we are serious about stopping it, we have to not only have things that make the perpetrator accountable, but we have to have things in place that support boys' health and make sure that they know that they can come forward and they can call.
Following the increase, Patterson noted that more males have been calling the Bahamas Crisis Center hotline, expressing a sense of hopelessness. She sends this message of hope for those struggling with suicidal thoughts.
And it's not only our hotline, social services has a suicide hotline. And it's very important for people to know if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling hopeless, there are things, and you can talk, you can call and find out that you have options. That whatever your home, your life, your relationship circumstances are, it's possible to deal with it.
The Road Traffic Department is looking at ways to address what seems to be rising traffic fatality cases. 2024 saw 60 traffic-related deaths, and so far this year, there have been 14. The two most recent incidents happening just this week. While contributing to the mid-year budget debate, Transport Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis outlined several steps being taken to address the issue.
We've installed road safety awareness billboards throughout New Providence and the Family Islands, with more to come. We've released several video messages on road safety and increased our engagement with schools, especially high schools, on road safety.
The Road Traffic Department has also partnered with the Bahamas Resort Foundation for an initiative that focuses on road safety awareness. The foundation donated $200,000 to improve pedestrian crossings around 6 schools in New Providence.
I'm pleased to share that the Ministry and the Bahamas Resort Foundation will not only continue our partnership, but also expand the project to include the installation of radar warning speed signs. I strongly, Madam Speaker, urge all Bahamians to drive within the speed limit and to wear a seatbelt. Do not drink and drive. And please adhere to the speed limit of 15 miles per hour in school zones.
When our news weekend comes back from the break, Bishop Helen McPhee is inspiring women to be fearless. And RBC Caribbean is doing its part to be more energy efficient. Find out how when our news weekend returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all, deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Our International Women's Day celebration comes back into focus tonight as we highlight one pioneering woman from the church. Like many other sectors of society, women are now breaking the glass ceiling, even in the church, becoming pastors, bishops, and leading congregations. But that wasn't always the case. Bishop Helen McPhee shares her journey in leadership.
Now, I'm not going to tell you, sit here and tell you that everything be sugar and spice and everything nice every day. No. But when it comes to your obligation to the call, I count it a privilege.
Even during the rough times, Bishop Helen McPhee says she always considered it a privilege to be a pioneering leader in the Christian faith. With just over 50 years in ministry behind her, the Agape Church founder has overcome many stumbling blocks along the way, paving a road for women in the church. But during those rough days, how did she overcome?
I had to make sure I know who called me, first of all. And then no one forced me to answer the call. I answered the call. And so because I answered the call, I had to really think for myself.
Sister Mac, as she was affectionately known in her early days, recounts how there weren't many women in leadership for her to lean on during that time. However, she did find strength in two elderly mothers.
Those two elderly women helped me. How? Prayer, fasting and praying. That is what I can tell the world. If you want to make it in ministry, just reading the Bible is not enough.
She's the founder of Agape Church, the Cathedral of Love. She's also the first woman ordained bishop in the Bahamas. To this day, Bishop McPhee says many young women still credit her for paving the way in ministry for them. She says it gives her a good feeling. To women, she leaves these words which she says carried her throughout her life.
Be not afraid. Don't ever get weak to the point where you find yourself cannot pray or cannot take up the Word of God. Because the Word of God is what you need, not only in ministry, but even in your everyday walk.
Women from across the island, along with several organizations, banding together Saturday morning for Women Walk 2025. Organizing Chair Candice Weish says it's a clarion call for all to come together in prayer. Weish says the idea came after the tragic death of Adriel Moxie and other instances of violence against women and children.
The Women Walk is a celebration of the strength of women on International Women's Day, and it's a clarion call to pray. We got to pray for our nation. If we don't pray for us, who's going to pray for us? And so I'm so thankful.
The group marched from Clifford Park to Rawson Square and back. Weish is grateful to the many sponsors of the event, one of them Oak Tree Medical Center. CEO Christy DeVoe says as a faith-based company, it's important to stand with other like-minded companies to take the city back.
A lot of women are dealing with secret rape, incest, molestation, and these are a lot of issues that we're afraid to speak about publicly. And so as a woman, I felt that it was important for me to stand with other women that have gone through these things. I know of women that have suffered these things in silence. And so I wanted to come out to just bring light to some of the things that women are fighting in this community and say, we are here to support you, we're here to help. We have mental health opportunities for you to get healing, to get whole, and also we're coming out here to pray because we need to take our city back.
RBC Caribbean has successfully completed its first solar carport at its East Hill Street corporate office. Bank officials say it's a part of their commitment to sustainability, renewable energy, and net zero leadership. RBC transformed its open parking area into this cutting-edge solar carport in 6 months. It's designed to generate solar energy while providing shade for vehicles. RBC Caribbean Regional Vice President of Personal and Private Banking, Lasagna Mizik, shared this with us.
It really forms part of RBC's overall net zero leadership strategy around transitioning to a greener economy. Ultimately, this will continue to be our focus in RBC Caribbean.
Mizik says it was made possible through a partnership with Compass Solar Systems. RBC is hoping to gain a 15% efficiency by leveraging the Bahamian sun. It's also just one way RBC is committing to creating a positive impact within the local community.
We've kind of layered it or separated it across two pillars. How can we improve efficiency across our corporate real estate, which is our premises across the Caribbean? And our hope is to improve by 1.5% year on year in that space. And then from a client perspective as well, how do we continue to enhance our product development to really enable our clients to be assisted with greener financing? And so the solar car park that's here at East Hill Street is a part of how we're looking at improving our premises.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, our Daniel Miller has a full recap from night one of the Jazz in the Gardens Music Festival. Find out why attendees boasted about the event, but first...
We're in the home stretch of the hoop season and things are heating up. We're going to talk about it next on Our Sports Weekend.
Diet-friendly special.
Good evening, happy Sunday. Welcome to Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tej Adderley. Both the NBA and college seasons are in their final stretches, and Bahamians saw significant action in both over the weekend. Buddy Hield and the Warriors beat the Detroit Pistons last night 115-110. He had 8 points in 19 minutes. The win is the Dubs' 9th in the last 10 games, leaving them in 6th place in the West, outside of the precarious play-in tournament. Over in the NCAA, VJ Edgecombe dropped 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals in a hard-fought 63-61 loss to number 3 Houston. Dayton Aubrey scored 5 points in Utah State's 87-47 blowout over Air Force. And Coach Rolette McPhee and her Mississippi Rebels were eliminated from the SEC tournament on Friday, taking a 70-63 loss to Texas. Now I'm excited. We're getting into the NBA playoffs and the NCAA tournaments, and our people are stepping their game up. You can go to our social media pages and watch our newscast daily for the latest updates. Now we're on the sand, where the Junkanoo boys are only 2 days away from their bid to get to the World Cup. The CONCACAF Beach Soccer Cup begins on Tuesday. The tournament will see the Bahamas compete with the best teams in the hemisphere. The 2 finalists will advance to the Beach Soccer World Cup in Seychelles in May. The Bahamas, one of the region's strongest, has been on the outside looking in, advancing to the quarterfinals in 2015, 2017, 2019, and 2023. But the team will try to get over the hump and power through to the finals. You can do your part by cheering them on. And the best part, admission is totally free, so let's get out there and cheer on the Junkanoo boys. The tournament starts Tuesday through Saturday. Matches start at 2 p.m. and Team Bahamas will play every night at 8 p.m. That is a wrap for sports this evening. For Our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley. Have a great week.
Thanks, Tej. When we come back from the break, we are days away from the Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival, and the team you already trust will be there for all of it. The details when Our News Weekend returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Cetamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. Sunny skies outside the Our News studios. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back with this week's forecast.
Yeah, thanks, Berthany, and a happy Sunday evening, everybody. A warm day around the islands, a lot of sunshine, and temperatures manage to get up into the low 80s. Still near the 80-degree marker as we speak. 79 outside our studios with a few clouds. The winds out of the south-southeast at 8 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 77. Temperatures around the islands right now, it's 76 in Freeport, 77 over in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, 77 also in Alistown, Bimini, Great Harbor Key. Nichols San Andres, 79 here in the capital. Governor's Harbor, 78. Into the central Bahamas, we pick up 81 in Kemps Bay, 76 in Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, the Exuma, 78, 75 in Cuba Town, San Salvador. Deadman's Key, 77, and into the southeast Bahamas, 78 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, some 76s popping up in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, as well as in Abrahams Bay. Providenciales, 78, Matthewtown, Inagua, you round out a temperature profile at 80 degrees. Satellite and radar composite, it is still quiet across our area. High pressure is in charge, and that high will continue to slide out towards the east. That's paving the way for a frontal boundary to get near. But those warm temperatures will stay with us at least before this front gets in. But the front is expected to usher in some nice change for the forecast. Future forecast showing the moisture associated with the boundary up to the north across North Florida. Low pressure system will take shape across the Gulf of Mexico. That will in turn drag a frontal boundary across the area by about Monday afternoon. Should be across South Florida and then swinging through the Bahamas by Monday night into Tuesday morning. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas. An advisory will come in place for tomorrow. Winds are going to be picking up very strongly. South to southwest winds at 15 to 25 knots. Seas will be building 5 to 8 feet over open waters. Your low tide will be at 11:31 tonight. High tide takes place at 5:58 in the morning. For the central and southeast Bahamas, caution flag will come into effect by tomorrow afternoon with the front. Southeast to south winds at 15 knots. Seas running 3 to 5 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we have that front coming through on Monday. Some scattered showers, isolated, possible thunderstorms with it, but it's going to get very breezy on Tuesday. 77 for your high. Temperatures will rebound back to the 80s and looking for a beautiful end for next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Thanks, Greg. Well, if you haven't heard from some of your friends or a family this weekend, they might very well be in Miami Gardens, attending the annual and beloved Jazz in the Gardens Music Festival. Every year, Bahamians flock to this R&B musical showcase, and this year, our Daniel Miller was there for the first time.
I already ran into some Bahamians.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you did. There's a lot of them around here, man. A lot of them.
It's a staple for Bahamian music lovers. The annual Jazz in the Gardens Festival, now in its 18th year in historic Miami Gardens. For a first-timer like me, I understood immediately why it's seen as a big Miami family reunion where Bahamians come to party.
You see me dress up in my nice Bahari, right? Repping the Bahamas. We always let...
On day one, audiences were treated to the sensational Coco Jones and Ty Trebet's hand-clapping, foot-stomping gospel performance. 90s all-female group Escape got the audience going in the warm-up to Miss Lauryn Hill. If her legendary vocal talents weren't enough to entice the crowd, she performed against the backdrop of an elaborately transformed stage and a vintage video montage, eventually joined by her sons, Zion and YG Marley, and longtime friends, Busta Rhymes, Spliff Star, and Doechii.
Influences, and it also really tied in a lot of the civil rights movement. It tied in a lot of the current equality issues that we're facing here in the United States.
The highlight, witnessing the nostalgia of Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean reunite to perform those beloved hits of the Fugees from almost 3 decades ago.
And that does it for day one of us festivaling. If festivaling isn't a word, don't matter. I'm going to use it today. For all the behind-the-scenes content, be sure to follow our social media platforms at Our News Bahamas. Stay tuned as we bring you the highlights of day 2 from Jazz in the Gardens. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle. The Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival is set to return this week, and the Our News team will be there to cover it all. The festival begins March 12th and will end on the 16th. We'll be at the resort starting tomorrow to give you all the behind-the-scenes action, interviews, highlights, and much more. With some of the biggest names in the traditional and local culinary industry like Chef Bobby Flay, J.J. Johnson, Kenneth McKinsey, and Xavier Higgs. And as for entertainment, there will be 3 nights packed with performances from Baha Men, KB, Wendy, and Shaggy. Culinary Vice President for the Atlantis Resort, Samir Rudwall, explains what attendees can expect.
It's wine, it's liquor, it's great food, it's amazing chefs all around. I mean, listen, it's as much as it's a food game, it's a big beverage game also. It's a big party, I would call it.
Thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Make it a great week, everyone.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.